Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joyce Lancy Popley, and in behalf of my group mates, please bear with us as we tackle about import declaration entry. What is import declaration? An import declaration is a statement made by the importer or owner of the goods or their agent or licensed customs broker to us providing information about the goods being imported. The import declaration collects details on the importer, how the goods are being transported, the tariff classification, and customs value. There are three declaration types for imported goods, such as customs declaration. Second is self-assessed clearance or SAC declaration, and its SAC form. Lastly is warehousing declaration. Import documents required for shipments to the Philippines include: first is commercial invoice or pro forma invoice, second is bill of lading for sea freight or airway bill for air freight, third is certificate of origin if requested, fourth is packing list, fifth is special certificates or import clearance or a permit depending on the nature of goods being shipped and are requested by the importer or bank, and lastly is commercial invoice of returned Philippine goods. Documents as may be required by rules and regulations such as: first is import permit or clearance if the commodity is regulated, second is authority to release imported goods, third is copy of advance ruling if the ruling was used in the goods declaration, fourth is load port survey reports or discharge port survey reports for bulk or break bulk importations, fifth is document evidencing exemption from duties and taxes if applicable, lastly is others, tax credit certificate, or tax debit memo if applicable. Specific import procedures. Some products such as animals, plants, foodstuffs, medicines, chemicals, etc. require a special certificate. Second is tariff rate quotas or TRQS still remain on a number of sensitive products such as corn, poultry meat, pork, sugar, and coffee. Third is minimum access volumes or MAV have been established for these commodities.
Importing samples. The Philippines are not part of the DTA-Carnot Convention. Goods brought into the Philippines for repair, processing, or reconditioning and to be exported upon completion of such operations may be allowed conditionally pre-entry. The Bureau of Customs requires the security equal to 100% of the duties, taxes, and other charges on the goods, with the condition that the goods will be exported or the corresponding duties, taxes, and other charge will be paid within 6 months from the date of acceptance of the goods declaration. The Department of Finance requires one-time registration of consignee in the tax exemption system, providing the following information. First one is the name of consignee. Second one, the tax identification number, and the third one is an email address, and lastly, the fourth one is official address. DOF also requires the following documents: duly accomplished Department of Finance, Revenue Office, Form 91, application for tax or duty exemption under exportation, and this is the Form 91 application for tax or duty exemption on importation. Notarized affidavit of end use, ownership, authorization letter, if authorized representative, signed and dated import bill of lading or airway bill, commercial invoice, if applicable, contract or agreement for repair, processing, reconditioning. For lodging an import declaration, this is the information. You need the following: invoice or pro forma invoice, and this is the samples. Commodity code, any additional codes that the commodity code requires, authorizations, licenses, or surveillance documents required by restriction, if any, certificates of origin, any, number of previous document indicated in the arrival notification, and lastly, authorization to present missing documents, if any. I may will be the next reporter. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good day. This is Maria Miriam, and for today's video, it is the continuation of our topic, which is Import Declaration Entry.
As a general rule, importations into the Philippines are subject to customs duties and taxes unless there is a specific legal basis for exemption from duties and taxes. Importation of goods donated from abroad are only exempt from duties and taxes under certain circumstances. A customs declaration is a form that lists the details of goods that are being imported or exported when a citizen or visitor enters the customs territory. Most countries require travelers to complete a customs declaration form when bringing notified goods across international borders. Posting items via international mail also requires the sending party to complete a customs declaration form. Declaration form helps the customs to control the goods that enter the country, which can affect the country's economy, security, or environment. A levy duty may be applied. Travelers have to declare everything they acquired abroad and possibly pay customs duty tax in goods. Some countries offer a duty-free allowance on certain products, which may not be declared explicitly. When an individual is transporting the goods, the form is called a customs arrival card or a landing card or an entry voucher. The traveler is required to fill out the form, sign, and submit to the customs or border protection officer before entering the country. When an individual of an organization ships goods across the borders, one must use other customs declaration forms such as a commercial invoice or a pro forma invoice. Incoterms in these forms define the shipment and customs declaration. A harmonized system code might be required to define the type of goods and their associated tax rate. The importer is usually required to provide information about the goods, country of origin, and the certificate of origin. Errors in the forms can cause delays or confiscation of the goods. Some nations require a customs declaration form from each person crossing the border, while other nations require one form per family traveling together. A family is usually defined as family members residing in the same household who are related by marriage, adoption, blood, or domestic relationship. So we have special requirements for customs. So in different countries have different rules, laws for exports and imports. So therefore, you may have to take additional steps if you are sending to certain countries. So the first one is countries that require an automated manifest system or EMS declaration. And these are Canada, US, Mexico, Philippines. Second, countries that require an entry summary declaration or ENS. And these countries are all European countries, European Union countries. The third one is the countries that require the fumigation of wood products. These are the Australia, US, Canada, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Israel, Brazil, Chile, and Panama. And the last one is the countries that require an origin certificate declaration. And these are Cambodia, Canada, UAE, Doha, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka.
That's all, guys, and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wendelin Rose T. Cortez. In continuation of IMI's report, I will be discussing to you about how to avoid mistakes with your customs labels. Customs forms are very important document and require your full attention. So be careful and honest while filling them out. So the most common mistake to avoid are: first is incorrect information about value, sender, or receiver information. If the information provided does not match with your items in the parcel, you could be in trouble. Why? It's because the customs may hold your package indefinitely, or in the case of wrong place, you won't be able to do anything about it. The next one is wrong classification of the items. You should use the correct item codes and all of the 10 digits when declaring the items are in your package. So don't forget to include quantities if you have used the wrong code or wrongly classified the goods. Your package will be rejected by the automated export system. Next is how to avoid entering the wrong value of the package. So even if you do this at the request of your customers, it is wrong and will be considered fraud. So fraud means pagpanglan. The next is incorrect product description. This will cause shipment delays. So be careful when you enter this information. So importante gid siya nga careful jud ka kung fill out ka ng information. So the next is wrong information about hazardous materials. So if you provide the wrong information about dangerous goods, things may go wrong during the shipping process, and you could be held liable. Next is attaching the form incorrectly. So make sure the barcode on your form can be read easily. So dili siya libog basahon sayo na siya basahon. So who are authorized to make import entry? So kinsa raman ang mga tao nga makahimo or makamake sa import entry. So the following authorities to make import entry. First is the importer and other persons who are holder of bill of lading. Next is licensed customs broker acting under authority from a hold of the bill. And lastly, a person duly empowered to act as an agent or attorney in fact of each other. So the duly notarized power for attorney should be approved by the Court of Collector, and no more than such continuing power may be accepted or recognized. So the last topic I will discuss to you is when to file an entry. So kanusa mo file of entry. So entry must be filed in the customs house within 30 days from the date of discharge of the last package from the vessels, which shall not to be extendable. So failure to file the entry constitute implied abandonment or ma-abandon ang goods and will result in the ipso facto or forfeiture of the goods or shipment. So thank you everyone for watching and have a good day.